Too many G1 Constructicons look the same. They are all made to emulate the same boring cartoon design. This isn't to dismiss the importance of the cartoon look, but can we ever adapt it into the real world? Mecha Invasion has proven just that. First, with its scrapper. The designs may not be Michael Bay's preference, but is this the best G1 based figure of the character? Stay tuned to find out. More reviews coming, including the coolest looking Insecticons thus far. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss them. And here is Mecha Invasion's Loader, aka their unofficial take on a modernized version of the Constructicon scrapper from G1. It comes out of the box in vehicle form, and it looks pretty much perfect. Perhaps the only G1 based Devastator figures that come this close are the ones by Dreamstar Toys, and I would argue they are surpassed only by a hair by this. It can fit extremely well in a real-world environment, with the Dreamstar Toys scrapper showing only just a tad bit more of robot gibble. Taking a closer look, we have construction logos blending perfectly with the neon green paint from the cartoon. While I don't blame Michael Bay for his major design changes, Mecha Invasion is still proving that even the characters in their G1 forms can fit in the real world. The figure delivers a tough-looking payloader vehicle with bright yellow and black caution lines appearing exactly where they can be on a real-life construction vehicle. The construction logos look excellently realistic where they are at, even on the neon green paint. But one of the things I'm most impressed with is connections to his front loading bucket. As you will see in the upcoming transformation video, these connections will split into his two legs. But look at the strong, glossy looking die-cast metal at the joints. It really speaks to the excellent material and build quality of these figures, an area that Dreamstar Toys has been known to fail terribly at, especially with their aerial bots. The Mecha Invasion scrapper also has everything else you would expect from a real-life payloader, including the small smokestack sticking right behind its canopy and the air vents at the back. The only arguable flaw with the vehicle's realism is the design of its tires. Based on what I've looked up, it appears that payloaders in real life have wheels that are a lot thicker and have rougher treads than what we're seeing on this figure, resembling the tractor tires used by Dreamstar Toys instead. Nevertheless, that is a very minuscule issue. Mecha Invasion has delivered a transforming construction vehicle that blends extremely well into a real-world physical environment. And on to his robot form, an excellent solid design. Along with their vehicle forms, Mecha Invasion is proving that these characters, even with strong faithfulness to the G1 mythos, still can appear in the real world. Ever since the time when these figures were released, there has been some tense debate over the look of Scrapper's feet, but I will dare say that they look just right. We have to keep in mind that Mecha Invasion was trying to make a non-parts forming combiner, which is all but even more difficult. And perhaps this was the smart way to pull off just that. But if you were a kid growing up with G1 in the 80s, this is the same scrapper you grew up and loved, reimagined to fit in the adult world. The head sculpt and body evoke the same look of his face and body color scheme from the cartoon. But the more modernized sculpt details of his body ensure that car parts blend seamlessly well with his realistic looking body. In fact, whether you like hearing it or not, it appears that Mecha Invasion also borrowed from the Baybots, using the front-loading bucket as his feet, and this and the rest of the particular sculpt details accomplish what every live-action Transformers movie must do. And ironically, borrowing from Bayverse seems to make this more of a faithful homage to G1. This scrapper avoids the more scattered complexity of Bayverse designs by making the loading bucket his feet. This differs a lot from strictly G1 faithful designs that always have the bucket hanging right behind his head, requiring more of a backpack as a result. And creating a clean back is one of the most difficult challenges in creating Bayverse-inspired figures. Now, even with his one accessory here, there is much more it can do than meets the eye. At the tip of the double barrel are two magnets that can light up his eyes. You do need a CR927 lithium battery inside for this to work, with which the figure does not come with, but it is well worth it to bring this guy to life. For articulation, head is on a ball joint that can move side to side. Shoulders can go up to little over a right angle and move the full circle. Arms have bicep rotation that can bend way less than 90 degrees. Wrist can rotate the full circle, but you do have to be mindful that it is a bit obstructed by what's on his forearm, and weirdly enough, you have to bend the inner forearm like this to freely do the full circle, which I find very strange. Another one of the downsides of this figure is no finger articulation, unlike the Dreamstar toys, though I tend to find that a very, very minor thing. He does come with an ab crunch that doesn't leave a weird gap that you see in other figures. Boosting his posability is a full 360 waist rotation. And another cool engineering feat is the front tires functioning as the hip skirts. His legs can kick all the way to a right angle back and forth with a good amount of thigh rotation. Knees bend on double joints that allow for huge bends way past 90 degrees. Now his bucket feet can't bend upwards by a lot, but they can bend backwards by a lot, complementing his legs with excellent amount of ankle tiltage and left and right rotation. And all the gripes about his bucket feet ignore perhaps the biggest gain they bring, which are more stable dynamic poses. The grip at the bottom allows him to remain more stable even whilst running in the midst of frenetic combat, a difficulty that I've often faced with other highly posable figures. And that is Mecha Invasion Loader. His arm mode will be discussed when we get these guys together into Devastator, but overall this is an excellent rendition of Scrapper. In my view, there is no other G1-inspired version of the character that fits the real world better than this. It doesn't come with tolerance and quality control issues facing Dreamstar Toys' releases right now. And it has greater articulation and posability. As part of a non-parts forming combiner, it is a product of brilliant engineering. The innovative idea of making the front end bucket his feet makes for both a cleaner and much more realistic looking figure. This is a perfect blend of high posability, durability, and well-organized realism, proving that these qualities in a transformable figure do not have to go against each other. Perhaps the only flaw that gives me some annoyance is the weird articulation on his forearms. Nevertheless, I think this is the best member of the set, and I give it a 9.7 out of 10. Do you disagree? Still too annoyed by the bucket feet? Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Otherwise, you can buy this figure from TF Safari in the link down below. If you found this review helpful, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more, and until then, I'll see you next time.